Elena Kavris stood alone inside her quiet homestead dome on Taraxis 4. Watching the horizon through the curved glass wall, the sky outside was a strange color, an endless mix of purple and silver, shifting like liquid metal. Normally she found it beautiful. Today it only made her uneasy. It had been 9 days since her husband, Commander Jalen Kavris, went missing. 9 long, silent days. Taraxis 4 was a frontier world. It was not fully mapped, not fully studied, and not fully safe. Humans lived here in scattered domes, protected only by energy shields and their own courage. When Jalen was assigned to defend this sector, Elena followed him, hoping for a peaceful life far from Earth. But the planet had different plans. Jalen had left on what was supposed to be a short mission, just a routine patrol with his team. He said it would take only 12 hours. He kissed her goodbye at dawn. By sunset, his whole unit disappeared. Elena stared at the empty land and whispered, "Where are you, Jalen?" The dome hummed around her. Machines worked quietly, keeping oxygen levels steady. The lights flickered once, a small warning of the storm forming outside. Then, unexpectedly, the ground sensors beeped. She froze. The dome did not usually detect movement. The land around them was empty for kilometers. Nothing lived out there, not animals, not settlers, not even insects. Only the wind. The sensor beeped again, this time louder. Something, or someone, was approaching from the east. Elena rushed to the console and checked the readings. 3 heat signatures, 3 human life signs, all showing signs of exhaustion. Weak heart rates, high stress levels, her breath caught in her throat. There was only one group of people who could be wandering this far out on foot. Jalen's team. She ran to the airlock, her heart pounding. She wanted to hope but feared disappointment. Many rescue teams had already searched the area. They found wreckage, broken devices, empty weapons, signs of a fight. But not Jalen. If these were his friends, maybe they carried answers. The first figure came into view through the dust storm, a man with broad shoulders but with a heavy limp. Behind him walked a tall woman holding her arm against her chest, clearly hurt. The third was a younger man dragging a large metal case across the ground. Elena recognized all of them at once. Rourke, Seema, Draven, Jalen's closest friends, and the last 3 people who saw him alive. She hit the airlock switch, and the outer door slid open. Cold wind rushed in, bringing dust and the sharp smell of the storm. "Elena," Rourke said, almost collapsing as he stepped inside. "Get in, all of you," she said, grabbing his arm to help him. The 3 staggered through the airlock. Once the door shut behind them, warm air filled the chamber, and the system began to clean the dust from their suits. The inner door opened automatically, letting them into the dome. They all looked terrible faces, dirty, armor cracked, uniforms torn. "What happened?" Elena asked. "Where is Jalen?" None of them answered immediately. Rourke leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. His usual strong voice was low and tired. "We didn't think we would make it back. But we had to come. For you." "For me?" Elena repeated. Seema nodded. She had a deep cut across her forehead, but her eyes were sharp and alert, like a soldier who refused to rest. "We couldn't send a transmission. Something was blocking our signals, something powerful." Draven, the youngest, carefully set the metal case down on the floor. He didn't look anyone in the eye. His hands were shaking. Elena looked at each of them, fear rising in her chest. "Tell me the truth," she said. "What happened to my husband?" Silence filled the room. She could hear only the soft hum of the dome's oxygen filters. Finally, Seema spoke. "Elena, Jalen saved our lives. If not for him, we would all be dead." Her stomach twisted. "So we don't know," Rourke cut in. "We lost him in the canyon. There was an attack, something we've never seen before." Elena felt her knees weaken, but she forced herself to stay standing. "What attacked you?" Rourke exchanged a quick look with Seema and Draven. It was a worried look, almost fearful. Draven swallowed hard. "We don't know what they are. They didn't look like any alien species we learned about. And they weren't acting like animals or soldiers. More like shadows. Living shadows." Elena shook her head. That's impossible. We thought so too, Rourke said. Until they destroyed our transport, like it was paper. Seema stepped closer, lowering her voice. There was something else. Elena. Something we were carrying. Her eyes flicked to the metal case Draven had dragged inside. Elena felt a sharp coldness in her chest. What's in that case? Draven immediately placed his hand over the top as if protecting it. Something Jalen found. Something he said was important. Important how? She asked. Rourke sighed. We don't know. Jalen told us to secure it and run if anything happened. The dome lights flickered again. Outside, the storm grew louder. But beneath its sound, Elena heard something else, a dull thud, like heavy footsteps moving around the dome. What was that? She whispered. Seema's expression hardened. They followed us. Elena's blood ran cold. The shadows? She asked. Rourke shook his head slowly. No. Not shadows this time. Something worse. Something that wants what's in the case. Elena stared at the metal box. Its surface was scratched and dented, but it hummed faintly like a heartbeat. What is inside? She repeated. We can't open it, Draven said. It's locked by bioscan. Only Jalen's DNA can release it. Elena stepped back, her mind racing. Her husband had found something strange and powerful, something dangerous, something worth chasing across the wasteland. And now, that object was inside her dome. What do they want with it? She asked. We don't know, Rourke answered. But they killed half our team trying to take it. Elena pressed her hands against her face for a moment, trying to breathe. She had imagined many scenarios for Jalen's disappearance, but none like this. She wanted to cry, but she knew now was not the time. Outside, another heavy thud echoed around the structure. Seema reached for her weapon. Draven backed away from the wall. Rourke tried to stand straighter despite his pain. Elena, Seema said calmly, your dome has shielding. Better than anywhere else in the colony. That's why we came here. We needed a place where we could hide the case and figure out what to do. You think the dome will hold? Elena asked. No. Rourke stared at the walls with a tired, worried look. Not forever. The dome shuddered. Dust fell from the ceiling. Something outside slammed into the shield again. A sharp alarm began to ring the perimeter defense warning. Intruder detected. Pressure on outer barrier. Structural stress increasing. Elena looked at her husband's friends. So what happens now? Seema tightened her grip on her weapon. Now? She met Elena's eyes. Now we fight to stay alive. The lights flickered again, longer this time. Then the power dipped for a full second, and every person in the room felt the dome grow colder. The thing outside was testing the shield, and soon it would break through. Elena took one last look at the metal case. Whatever was inside it, whatever Jalen died protecting, might be the only thing keeping them alive, and the only clue to where he was now. The storm outside roared like an angry beast, shaking the dome with each gust. Elena felt her hands tremble slightly as she helped Draven secure the metal case on the reinforced table. It was heavy, humming faintly, as if alive. She had never seen anything like it. Rourke, leaning against the wall, tried to catch his breath. Blood and dust streaked his face, and a deep cut ran across his forehead. We can't stay here for long, he said quietly, almost to himself. They'll break through eventually. Seema's eyes never left the walls, her fingers resting lightly on her sidearm. They'll come at the dome in force, she said. Whatever is outside, it's not human. It's smart. It knows what it wants. Elena took a deep breath. Then tell me the truth. What is this thing? And why did Jalen risk everything to protect it? Rourke exchanged a glance with Seema and Draven. There was hesitation in their eyes, but at last, Rourke spoke. It's an artifact. Something Jalen found during his last patrol. Something powerful. Something that could change everything about humanity. Elena's mind raced. Powerful how? Seema stepped forward. We don't fully understand it. Jalen said it could manipulate gravity. But there's more. Something genetic. Something connected to humans. Far older than anything we know. Elena stared at the case, trying to make sense of the words. Genetic? What do you mean? Draven shook his head. Jalen didn't explain it fully. He just said that whatever it is, it's why some forces want it, and why some will kill to get it. We were supposed to destroy it if we couldn't bring it back safely. But Jalen, he wouldn't let us. He said it was too important to humanity. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. So, my husband went missing protecting this artifact? And you brought it here because it's safe in my dome? Seema nodded. Yes. Your dome has shielding technology from the old colonies. It can hold the artifact safe for a while. At least until we can figure out our next move. Rourke leaned forward. Elena, we don't have much time. That thing outside isn't just following us, it's hunting for the artifact. And if it finds it, it won't just kill us. It could destroy this entire colony. The dome shuddered again. Elena could feel it in her chest. The walls were shaking, but they held. For now, then we have to protect it, Elena said firmly. She straightened, a sudden determination rising inside her. Tell me everything you know. If we're going to survive, I need to understand. Rourke took a deep breath. We were ambushed on the patrol. We didn't even see it coming. At first, we thought it was a natural predator. But it wasn't. It moved like liquid shadow. Silent, but strong. It knew our path before we took it. Seema continued. Jalen saw it first. He ordered us to scatter. But he didn't run. He stayed to fight it off. That's when the artifact started reacting. It hummed. It glowed. And then the thing attacked him directly. That's the last we saw of him. Elena swallowed hard. Her stomach twisted. She imagined her husband standing alone against some unknown force, risking everything to protect a mysterious object. He had always been brave. But this was beyond anything she had imagined. Draven's voice was barely above a whisper. When it attacked, we panicked. We ran with the artifact. Jalen, he stayed behind. I don't know if he's alive or dead. We couldn't see through the storm. All we knew was we had to keep this safe. The dome's sensors beeped again. The alert was sharper now. Something was pressing hard against the outer shield. Elena moved toward the control panel. She watched the readings carefully. It's testing the dome's defenses, she said. How strong is it? How long can we hold? Rourke shook his head. Not long. The artifact seems to attract it. It senses it. And it knows we have it. That's why it followed us all the way here. If we try to leave, it will hunt us down faster than any patrol ship could reach us. Elena's eyes darted to the metal case. She didn't understand what was inside. But she knew it was important, more important than anything she had ever seen. More important than her fear. Seema lowered her voice. Elena, there's something else you should know. The artifact isn't just valuable. It's intelligent. In a way. It responds to humans. It recognizes us. Jalen said it might choose who can handle it. That's why it reacted to him. And maybe, why it reacts to you. Elena's heart skipped a beat. Me? Why me? Draven's eyes widened. We don't know. Jalen didn't explain. He only said it chooses. Some humans. Rare ones. Maybe because of lineage. Maybe because of courage. I don't know. The wind outside howled again, shaking the dome. Dust rattled the panels. The lights flickered for a moment. And Elena felt a strange pull in her chest. Like the artifact's hum had entered her mind. It was subtle at first. A whisper at the edge of her thoughts. Then, stronger, insistent. Calling her toward the table. She looked at Rourke. Do you feel that? He frowned. Feel what? The artifact, Elena said. It's trying to communicate. Seema took a cautious step closer. It's possible. Jalen said it can sense intentions. Maybe it knows we are trying to protect it. Draven placed his hand lightly on the case, as if not wanting to disturb it. I don't think anyone can open it yet. Only Jalen, or someone it chooses. Elena reached out, almost without thinking, and touched the surface of the case. The hum grew louder. Her fingers tingled. The metal seemed warm, almost alive. For a moment, she felt connected to something much larger than herself. Something old. Something human. A soft vibration ran through her hand. And then, in her mind, came a flash of images. Stars, ships, faces of people she didn't know, and a voice. Quiet, faint, familiar. Protect. The future. Elena pulled back, gasping. Her heart raced. She looked at the three soldiers, but they were staring at her with wide eyes. What did you see? Rourke asked. Elena shook her head. I don't know. But it wants us to protect it. That's all I know. Seema nodded slowly. Exactly. That's why Jalen risked everything. That's why it reacted to him. And maybe, why it reacted to you. The dome trembled again. This time, it was stronger. Something outside was trying to break through. A shadow moved against the walls. Not human. Not any animal Elena had ever seen. Just darkness, shifting like liquid smoke. Rourke raised his voice. We need a plan. We can't wait here passively. It's learning our defenses. The longer we stay, the harder it will be to survive. Elena felt a wave of determination. Fear was still there, but now it was mixed with resolve. We fight, but we do it smart. We protect the artifact. And we find Jalen. Whatever it takes, Draven nodded. We'll follow your lead. But first, we need to understand it. The artifact. If we can learn how it works, maybe we can use it to defend the dome. Seema's eyes were steady. We can try. But time is short. Whatever is outside, it won't wait. And it's strong. Smarter than any predator we've faced. Stronger than anything from the colonies. If it breaks in, the dome could collapse. Elena swallowed. She looked at the metal case again, the object humming with a strange energy. Whatever Jalen had found, it was alive in a way she had never imagined. And now, it was their only hope. Then we start now, Elena said firmly. We study it. We understand it. And we prepare to fight. Because if we don't, whatever is out there, it will destroy us. The four of them gathered around the artifact. Elena reached out once more, letting her fingers brush the metal surface. The hum responded, louder this time, almost welcoming. Rourke watched cautiously. Careful. We don't know what it can do. Elena's eyes glowed with determination. We'll learn. And we'll survive. For Jalen. For humanity. The storm outside intensified. And the shadows pressed against the dome. But inside, something powerful had awakened. Something ancient. Something human. And for the first time in days, Elena felt hope. The storm outside had grown worse. The dome shook with each gust of wind. And the faint hum of the artifact seemed louder than ever. Vibrating through the room like a heartbeat. Elena stood near the table, her hands pressed against the metal case. She could feel its energy pulsing beneath her fingers, alive and responsive. Rourke paced back and forth, rubbing his forehead. We can't stay here forever, he muttered. Whatever's outside. It's not just hunting the artifact. It's learning. It's adapting. Seema's eyes were sharp. It knows we're alive. It knows the artifact is here. If it breaks in, we won't just be fighting for the dome. We'll be fighting for our lives. And if it reaches the artifact. She didn't finish, but everyone understood. Draven stood quietly, staring at the artifact. His hands shook slightly. "We need a plan," he whispered. "And we need to know the truth about Jalen. Because, whatever this thing is, he didn't just disappear. Something happened to him." Elena's chest tightened. She had hoped for answers, but now she feared what those answers might be. "Then tell me," she said firmly. "Where is he?" Rourke let out a heavy sigh. "It's not easy to say. And it's worse than you think. Jalen, he was taken by the entity. When it attacked, he saved us, but it trapped him. We don't know where he is, or if he's alive. All we know is, he's not coming back the way we expected." Elena's breath caught. "Taken? By what?" Seema stepped closer. "It's not like anything we've seen before. Not human. Not animal. It's intelligent. It's strong. It can manipulate matter. And when it trapped Jalen, it moved him somewhere else. We think another dimension. A place it controls." Draven's voice shook. "We couldn't follow. The artifact resisted being taken, but Jalen didn't. That's why he's gone." Elena stared at the three soldiers, feeling a wave of anger, fear, and helplessness. "So you ran," she said, her voice trembling. "You left him." Rourke flinched. "Elena, it's not like that. Jalen told us to protect the artifact if anything happened. We didn't leave him. We survived to carry out his orders," Seema added quietly. "He saved all of us. And he trusted us to keep the artifact safe. That's why we're here. Not because we abandoned him, but because he chose this. He trusted humanity to survive. Even without him." Elena clenched her fists. The room shook again. The dome's lights flickered violently. The entity outside was testing their defenses more aggressively than before. She glanced at the metal case. The artifact pulsed as if it understood her emotions. "I don't care about your excuses," she shouted. "I care about Jalen. Where is he?" Rourke's face softened. "We don't know. We only know he's alive because the artifact reacted to him. It recognized him. And it's possible that if we use the artifact properly, we can bring him back." Elena's heart raced. "Then we learn. We use it. We bring him back." Seema nodded. "But it's dangerous. The artifact doesn't just respond to touch. It reads intention, courage, and connection. It can sense weakness too. If we fail, it could destroy us. Or worse," Draven swallowed hard. "Or it could make the entity stronger. Whatever it is, it doesn't like being controlled. If we misuse it." The dome shook again. A loud metallic groan echoed through the walls as if the structure itself was warning them. Elena felt a deep pull in her chest. The artifact was calling her. It wanted her to act. Taking a deep breath, she reached out and placed her hands on the case again. The hum grew stronger. Lights inside the dome dimmed and then brightened in sequence, as if the artifact was awakening fully. A vision appeared before her eyes, not in the air, but in her mind. Stars. Ancient ships gliding through galaxies. Faces of humans she had never met. Ships collapsing into black holes. And a voice. Deep. Clear. Resonant. "You are the protector. You are the bridge. Find him." Elena gasped, pulling back. She felt her knees weaken, and Rourke quickly steadied her. "Are you okay?" he asked. I saw something," she said, her voice shaking. "The artifact. It showed me. Jalen. And something else. Humans. Long ago. Traveling the stars. Something we forgot." Seema crossed her arms, eyes narrowing. "It's revealing part of its purpose. That's why it chose him. And maybe, now, you." Draven looked at her with awe. "Do you understand? This isn't just a tool. It's a key. A key to something older than humanity. Elena's mind raced. The artifact pulsed beneath her hands, warm, alive, responsive. She could feel it guiding her. Not just in space, but in time. It wanted something, and it trusted her to act. Rourke's expression grew grim. We need to prepare. Whatever is outside, it won't stop. It's learning our weaknesses. And it knows fear. That's its weapon. It will test us until we break. Elena's eyes met his. Then we don't break. We fight. We learn. We survive. And we bring Jalen back. Seema hesitated, then said, "There's one more thing. You need to know. Not everything about the mission was what it seemed. Orders came down from the high command. They didn't want this artifact found. And some of our own people might have tried to stop Jalen, to stop us." Elena's blood ran cold. Stop him? Why? Draven's voice was small. Because they feared its power. They said it was too dangerous. Too unpredictable. And maybe they didn't care if Jalen lived or died. Rourke clenched his fists. We risked our lives to bring it here. But we also risked betrayal. We don't know who to trust. Only the artifact can guide us now. The dome groaned again. This time, it was louder. More violent. Dust fell from the ceiling. The entity outside pressed harder, testing the shield. Elena placed her hands back on the artifact. The hum pulsed through her veins. A warmth spread through her body, filling her with courage she had never known. She could feel the artifact's intention. It wanted to protect them. And it wanted Jalen. Seema watched her closely. Do you feel it? Yes, Elena said, her voice firm. I feel it. I know what I have to do. I will bring him back. No matter what it takes. Draven looked worried. It won't be easy. And we may not survive. Rourke nodded grimly. But if anyone can do it, you can. You have the courage it recognizes. You have the connection. Jalen believed in you. And now, so does the artifact. Elena took a deep breath. The hum grew stronger, filling the room. The dome shuddered, but she did not let go. She felt energy flowing through her, through the artifact, and through the walls. The vision came again. Stars, ships, Jalen, and humans traveling the galaxy in ships older than any recorded history. A sudden realization struck her. This artifact wasn't just a tool. It was a bridge between humans and something much older. Something powerful. And it trusted her to use it wisely. We have to act, she said. We can't wait. If the entity breaches the dome, it will take everything. But if we understand the artifact, maybe we can turn the tables. Seema nodded. Agreed. But we need a plan. Rourke straightened. First, we study it. We find out how it responds. We test its abilities carefully. Then, we prepare to face the entity. We'll defend the dome, and if we can, we bring Jalen back. Elena felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders, but also a sense of purpose. Fear still lingered, but it was no longer paralyzing. Now it fueled her determination. The storm outside raged, the shadows pressing against the dome. But inside, the four of them had hope. The artifact pulsed in time with their hearts, alive and aware. And for the first time since Jalen disappeared, Elena knew they had a chance. A real chance. Because whatever the entity outside was, it had not faced humanity united. And it had not faced someone chosen by the artifact. Elena's hands rested firmly on the metal case. We survive, she whispered. We fight. And we bring him home. The artifact hummed in agreement, the room filling with a strange, golden light. The dome's walls shuddered, but the energy from the artifact held them steady. Outside, the shadows paused, almost as if sensing the change. And inside, hope burned brighter than ever. The dome had never felt so alive. The golden hum from the artifact filled the room, pulsing through Elena's body, as if it recognized her presence. Outside, the storm raged relentlessly, battering the shielded walls. Shadows moved violently across the perimeter, testing every panel, every seam, every weak spot in the dome. But inside, Elena felt a strange calm. She could think clearly. She could feel the artifact guiding her. Rourke paced near the wall, checking the monitors again and again. "They're not stopping," he said grimly. "Every time we think the shield is holding, it hits harder. It's learning. It knows what we fear. And it knows the artifact is here." Seema tightened her grip on her sidearm, eyes scanning every corner. "We need a plan. If it breaks in, we can't just defend. We have to act. The artifact might be our only chance." Draven looked at Elena nervously. "Are you ready for that? I mean, this thing, it's not just outside. It's intelligent. It can sense everything we do. One wrong move." Elena looked at them both and took a deep breath. "I'm ready. The artifact is alive. It's communicating with me. I don't fully understand it, but I feel it. It wants us to survive. It wants Jalen back. And it wants us to fight. Together." Rourke frowned. "Are you sure? It's dangerous. We've seen what it can do. If we push too far, we could—" "I'm sure," Elena interrupted firmly. "We've waited too long. Jalen is out there, trapped somewhere. And this storm, this entity, it's not going to wait for us to figure out the details. We act now, or we lose him forever." Seema nodded slowly. "Then we need to test the artifact, see what it can do before it's too late." Elena stepped forward and placed her hands again on the metal case. The hum responded instantly, louder this time, filling the dome with a vibration that felt like energy flowing through the walls. She closed her eyes, focusing. Slowly, the golden light from the artifact began to stretch, spreading across the floor in shimmering lines, like a map of energy connecting the four of them. "What is it doing?" Draven whispered, awe in his voice. "It's responding to me," Elena said, feeling the hum inside her chest. "It's showing me patterns, paths, directions. I think it can guide us to Jalen, or to a way to defend the dome, or maybe both." Rourke took a cautious step closer. "You mean it can fight for us?" "Not fight. Help us fight," Elena corrected. "It responds to courage and willpower, to connection. It senses strength, not weapons." Seema's eyes narrowed. "Then we need to be strong, all of us, focused, no hesitation." Outside, the shadows pressed harder. The outer shield shimmered violently as the entity tested it, the vibrations of its attacks echoing through the floor. Dust fell from the ceiling. The storm roared like a living creature. But inside, the dome felt like a calm island surrounded by chaos. Elena turned to the others. "We stay together. We protect the artifact. And we do what it shows us. If it wants us to act, we follow. We fight. And we bring Jalen back." Draven swallowed. "And if we fail?" Elena looked at him firmly. "Then humanity fails." "But we won't fail. We can't. We are the only ones who can do this. And the artifact has chosen us." Rourke exhaled slowly, then nodded. "All right. Then let's prepare. Seema, keep the weapons ready. Draven, monitor the shield. Elena, follow the artifact. It'll guide us." Elena placed her hands back on the case, focusing all her energy. The golden light spread farther now, crawling along the walls and floor, forming a faint grid. Images flashed in her mind, paths, corridors, shapes of something vast and unfamiliar. She realized the artifact was showing her the entity's movements. It was predicting attacks, weaknesses, and ways to defend the dome. "I see it," Elena said quietly. "I see the path. We can defend the dome, and we can trap it. But we have to act fast." "A donor plies," Seema frowned. "Trap it?" How? Elena explained. The artifact responds to energy, focus, and willpower. If we synchronize our intentions, we can create a force field stronger than the dome's shield. It can push the entity back or even contain it temporarily. But we have to stay connected, all four of us. Rourke looked skeptical. All four of us? How can we do that? We've never handled anything like this. Elena smiled faintly. Then we follow it. Trust it. And trust each other. The four of them moved to stand around the artifact. Elena took the lead, hands on the case. Slowly, she felt energy spreading through her arms and into the others. Seema, Rourke, and Draven placed their hands lightly on her shoulders and the artifact itself. The hum grew louder, vibrating in time with their heartbeats. Outside, the shadows struck the shield again, harder than ever. The walls shuddered violently, but the golden light from the artifact flared, forming a barrier between them and the entity. The shadows recoiled, as if they were being pushed back by an invisible force. "It's working," Draven shouted. Rourke's face lit up. "Keep it steady. Don't break focus." Elena's mind cleared. She could see the entity now, not fully, but partially. Dark, shifting forms. Intelligent. Almost like smoke made of muscle and energy. It was enormous, pressing against the dome, trying to find a weakness. But the artifact held, and with her guidance, the golden energy grew stronger, connecting the four of them in a shimmering web. Seema's eyes widened. "We can contain it. Keep it steady." Hours seemed to pass in minutes. The entity pressed harder, but Elena felt her courage strengthen with every pulse. Images of Jalen flashed in her mind, his face, determined and brave. She drew strength from him, imagining his hands guiding hers, even from where he was trapped. And then it happened. The golden energy flared, brighter than ever. The shadows outside screamed in a strange, unearthly sound. And for a moment, the dome shook violently. Then, silence. The storm seemed to pause. The entity recoiled, retreating slightly from the dome. Elena opened her eyes, breathing heavily. She looked at the others. "We did it. For now. But it's not over. It knows we are dangerous now. It will come back." Rourke exhaled slowly. "That was incredible. I've never seen anything like it." Seema nodded. "And it worked because of you. The artifact chose the right person." Draven's voice trembled. "But what about Jalen? How do we get him back?" Elena took a deep breath, touching the artifact again. A vision appeared in her mind, a vast, dark place filled with swirling energy. And there, in the center, she saw him. Jalen, trapped but alive, surrounded by darkness. "I can see him," she whispered. "He's alive. The artifact can guide us to him. But we have to go out there. Into the storm. Into the entity's world. We have no choice." Rourke frowned. "Into that? You mean we leave the dome? That's suicide." Elena's eyes blazed. "Maybe. But if we don't, Jalen is lost forever. And maybe more lives too. The artifact chose us for this reason. We survive together. We bring him back. And we stop this entity. That's our mission." Seema and Draven exchanged glances. Both nodded, determination in their eyes. "We're with you," Seema said firmly. "We face it together. No hesitation," Draven added. "I trust you, Elena. Lead the way." Rourke clenched his fists, then finally nodded. "Then let's go. But we move carefully. Every step matters." Elena placed her hands on the artifact one last time. The golden light pulsed, stronger than ever. It seemed to wrap around them like armor. Like wings of energy, she felt courage, strength, and connection not just with the artifact, but with the people around her. Outside, the storm roared again. The entity pressed against the dome with renewed fury. Dust and debris flew through the air. But Elena knew one thing with certainty. They were no longer just survivors. They were chosen. They were the force humanity needed. And together, with the artifact, they would fight. The path ahead was dangerous, unknown, and full of shadows. But Elena's mind was clear. Her heart was steady. The artifact pulsed beneath her fingers, and she felt Jalen's presence, faint but real, guiding her forward. She turned to the others. We leave the dome. We find him. We bring him home. Are you ready? Seema, Rourke, and Draven all placed their hands lightly on the artifact in agreement. Elena smiled faintly. Then let's go. Humanity doesn't give up. Not today. Not ever. And with that, the four of them stepped toward the airlock, the golden hum of the artifact growing louder, stronger, alive with energy and purpose. The storm outside would not stop them. The entity would not break them. And Elena Kavris was ready to lead humanity's courage into the heart of darkness. The airlock hissed as Elena, Rourke, Seema, and Draven stepped out of the dome. The storm outside tore at their suits, howling like a furious beast. Dust and debris whipped past, but the golden hum of the artifact pulsed in Elena's hands. Cutting through the chaos, she could feel its energy wrapping around them, guiding each step. The entity was waiting. Shadows shifted across the barren landscape, vast and intelligent, pressing outward like liquid darkness. Elena swallowed and drew in a steady breath. Fear was still there, but it was tempered by determination. They were not alone. They had the artifact. They had each other, and they had courage. Stay close, Elena said, her voice firm. Follow the artifact's guidance. It knows the path to Jalen. Seema tightened her grip on her weapon. And, if it attacks? Elena looked at her. Then we fight. Together. The golden lines from the artifact stretched before them, faint paths of energy on the ground. Elena followed, feeling the vibrations through her boots, the pulse in her hands, guiding them through the storm. Rourke and Draven mirrored her movements, eyes focused, hearts steady. Seema scanned for threats, keeping them safe from the shadows that occasionally struck at the edges of the light. Hours or maybe minutes passed. Time felt strange under the storm, under the pulse of the artifact. Finally, the golden path ended at the edge of a canyon, deep and dark, with swirling shadows inside. Elena peered over the edge, the entity's lair. There, suspended in a pool of shifting darkness, she saw him, Jalen. He floated in the middle of the swirling energy, held by invisible forces. His eyes opened briefly, meeting hers. And for a heartbeat, Elena felt a surge of hope. He was alive. Draven whispered, He's alive. Elena's voice trembled with relief, but she kept it steady. We're coming for you, Jalen. Hold on. Rourke studied the shadows carefully. It won't be easy. That thing knows we're coming. It'll attack the second we step in. Seema added, We have to be smart. Follow the artifact. Trust it. Elena nodded. She placed the artifact on the ground and stepped forward. The golden light flared, forming a protective bubble around them. The shadows surged toward the light, but recoiled slightly at the artifact's energy. Move, Elena commanded. They advanced into the canyon, the artifact lighting the way. Shadows struck like living whips, but the energy shield absorbed most attacks. Still, Rourke stumbled as one lash struck the edge of the barrier. Seema caught him instantly. We can't stop, Elena shouted. Keep moving. The artifact pulsed faster, stronger, guiding them closer to Jalen. As they reached the center, the shadows formed a thick wall, black and writhing, blocking their path. Elena felt the artifact vibrating intensely in her hands. Its energy seemed to respond to her courage, to her intention. We have to push through, she said, more to herself than anyone else. We have to save him. Draven placed a hand on her shoulder. We trust you, Elena. Lead the way. Elena lifted her hands over the artifact. The golden energy expanded, reaching outward like wings, stretching and curling around the shadows. The darkness hissed and writhed. But the light did not weaken. The four of them focused together, hearts synchronized, minds clear. Then Elena spoke aloud, her voice steady. We are human. We do not give up. We survive. We fight. And we will bring him home. The artifact responded instantly. The golden energy flared, brighter than the sun, pushing back the shadows, opening a clear path. The swirling darkness shrieked, retreating, unable to withstand the combined will of humans guided by the artifact. Elena stepped forward. The energy shielded her and her friends as they moved closer to Jalen. The shadows clawed and struck, but each attack weakened as they approached. Finally, she reached him. "Jalen!" she shouted. His eyes opened fully now, recognition and relief flooding his gaze. "Elena," he whispered. Elena dropped to her knees beside him. She placed her hands on his chest, then on the artifact. The energy pulsed and flowed, wrapping around him. Slowly, the invisible force holding him loosened. The shadows shrieked and recoiled further as he fell into Elena's arms. Rourke and Seema helped steady him. "We got him," Rourke said, disbelief and joy in his voice. Draven grinned, though exhausted. "We actually got him." Elena held Jalen close, feeling his pulse and warmth. He was alive. He was safe for now. The artifact hummed softly, almost like it was satisfied. Jalen opened his eyes fully and smiled weakly. "I knew you'd come," he whispered. "I trusted you. The artifact, it guided you." Elena smiled back, tears welling in her eyes. "I trusted it, and I trusted us. We're not giving up, not on you, not on humanity." The shadows outside shrieked one last time, then retreated into the storm. The artifact glowed softly, as if resting. The golden light pulsed faintly in Elena's hands. Steady and calm now. Seema exhaled. "It's over, for now." Rourke looked at the artifact with awe. "It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. It's alive, but it's also human, somehow." Draven laughed softly. "We survived. And we brought Jalen back. I think that counts as a victory." Elena nodded, holding Jalen. "This is just the beginning. The artifact, it showed me things. Humans traveled the stars long before we knew. And something in us, our courage, our will, our unity can still change the galaxy." Jalen slowly rose to his feet, supported by Elena. "I saw it too," he said. "The entity, it's powerful, but it's afraid of us. Because we are humans. And because the artifact recognizes that." Seema smiled faintly. "HFY? Huh." Elena laughed softly, though still exhausted. "Exactly. Humans never give up. And we never let fear decide our future." Rourke placed a hand on the artifact. "So, what now? We return to the colony?" Elena shook her head. "No. We need to study this fully. The artifact, it's more than just a tool. It's a guide, a protector, maybe even a teacher. And we need to understand its purpose. If the entity returns, and it will, we have to be ready." Draven nodded. "Then we become the protectors. Not just for us, but for humanity." Elena looked around at her friends, at Jalen, at the glowing artifact. "Yes. Humanity survives. We fight. We protect. We explore. And we will never stop. Not today. Not ever." The storm began to calm, the shadows retreating into the distance. The golden glow of the artifact bathed them in warmth. Elena could feel its power, its intelligence, its connection to human courage. Jalen placed his hand over hers. "We did it. Together." Elena smiled, her heart full. Together. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us strong. And that's why we survive. Also in time, to our lime, the four friends and Jalen stood together, the storm fading, the artifact humming softly. Outside, Tyrax's four stretched endlessly, wild and untamed. But now it seemed a little less threatening. Humanity had survived. Humanity had fought, and humanity would continue to rise. The artifact pulsed once, softly, like a heartbeat, a reminder that the adventure was not over. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries and dangers. But humans had courage. Humans had will. Humans had hope. And together, they were unstoppable. Elena held Jalen close, feeling the warmth of his hand and the pulse of the artifact beneath them. "We go forward," she whispered. "We fight. We survive. And we explore. Humanity doesn't stop." The artifact pulsed in agreement, the golden light spreading across the canyon floor. A beacon of hope, courage, and unity. And so, under the fading storm of Taraxis 4, humans stood victorious not because they were the strongest, but because they never gave up. Because humanity was unstoppable. Because humanity, together, could face anything.